Well, it's a new day. Um, I'm not going to count the streak anymore. I don't think that that's important. But recently, in my journey, I kind of went through a pretty bad flatline. Some may call it pause, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. I don't know if I actually had pause, but I think I just had like a really extreme experience with myself on this journey. Sort of like a mind, just a messed up way of thinking that needed to be challenged. And yeah, it was basically a flatline. So this video is a guide to flatlines because I feel like I'm outside of it right now. Now I may not have all the tools or all the understanding, but now that I'm on the outside of it, I have so much hindsight as to how I felt. I think it would be best to at least talk about what I was going through. That way, if anyone happens to find themselves in the same situation, which many people do, they can understand a lot of the things that I didn't. And it was scary. I'll tell you that. Like, when I started to feel that way, like, I don't know, like nothing was working, like everything was kind of falling apart, like, like doing retention was not worth it anymore. When I started to feel that way, it started to feel very closing, like it was closing my heart. And it made my mood super, super bad, which threw off my energy, which threw off most of the benefits of even doing this practice, which made me think, why am I even doing this? It's like the whole point is to not be this way, and I am this way. So what the hell is going on? So I want to talk a little bit about a flatline. So I was watching some guy who's also a retention kind of YouTube streamer, talks a lot about it. And he used this road trip analogy. He said, imagine on retention, you're kind of like on a road trip. Like maybe you have a couple specific goals in mind, maybe you have one specific goal in mind, but regardless, in the beginning, you're very, very excited. It's like, first 30 days. You're very excited. The road trip is going awesome. Everything's working. You're going down the road. You're seeing all this stuff. You're flying out of your hometown, and it's just a very exciting time. But let's say this road trip's like 10 hours or 12 hours. Maybe those first hour, hour and a half, 2 hours maybe are kind of fun, but then it slowly starts to get worse and worse. It's just like it gets more boring and you get more tired. It's just like you're hanging on. But there's a couple things associated with the road trip analogy, because it's like, of course, this isn't temporary. This is a lifestyle that we're trying to live. It's not something that we're doing. It's not like we're going on a road trip and then we just don't go on a road trip 365 days out of the year. No, it's like we go on a road trip indefinitely. But I guess it's important to realize that most of our life should be cultivated in this sort of analogy. And that right now, when we start something new, like retention, this mini road trip amongst all the other ones that we're having is a significant one, and it's very powerful. So as you get more bored, you see all these benefits coming in, everything's working out, and then it slowly starts to slow down. And I guess one of the biggest things that this guy also said in his YouTube video was, no one can help you through that. Like, you've done a lot in your life. A lot. Genuinely. So much so that it's pushed you to become the man that you are right now. It's pushed you to try out retention. It's pushed you to get on a streak. What makes you think that when you hit a bump in the road, it's also not going to be you in that same scenario pushing yourself through it? You've gone through everything on your own. This you also have to go through on your own. And I guess what that kind of taught me was, maybe there's no reason at times for why we go through the things that we go through, especially on retention. Maybe some of the benefits, they're just so unreasonable you can't even explain them, which is completely fine. I mean, we try to explain them, we try to control them and say that like there is some sort of reason, but a lot of that reason could just be God putting his hands in our lives, doing whatever he does for absolutely whatever reason he has. And it could be no reason that we could ever understand. But because there may not be a reason, that doesn't mean that gives you no reason. You have a will at the end of the day. If you want to be on retention, you stay. If you don't, you don't. You either look to the other side and say that there's something beautiful, or you don't. And it's hard, and things in life are hard. Like retention is just an aspect of a life, like an extension. It's like a catalyst. Like I've said many times, it's a catalyst to things that we want or to things that we are working for. But it's not a thing that gives gifts. It's a catalyst. It's a catalyst to who we are. And who you are is not defined by what you think or what you feel. It's decided by what you do. And a lot of how you feel, but a lot of how you feel is decided by the moment. And you can change that very quickly. You can't always change your actions once they're done. But you can change how you feel just by doing something slightly different most of the time. So I guess all that to say, if you are going through a flat line, if you are going through some sort of hardship in your life, retention, what it will teach you to do is kind of pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Not in the sense that like you should, or not in the sense that like that's the only way to get through anything in life. No, it's just that it's better that way on retention. It's better that way. It's better that way for you. It's better that way for everyone else around you, because it's much more respectable towards your energy that you're giving off. And it'll teach you so much more about what you actually want in life, what you actually want to care about and get through. Like, because for me, I was relying very heavily on the benefits of retention to prove its justification for my life. When I was challenged with a flatline, I realized, oh, I have to want this regardless. And, my faith in Jesus Christ helped a lot. But for people who may not have that, or who haven't found that, you just got to realize that there's something bigger waiting on the other side. And it extends far beyond how you feel moment to moment, far beyond who you want to be in this moment. It extends to a world of opportunity and possibility that you just can't see right now. And that's okay. Because it's out there, it's just not in your sight. That doesn't mean anything. Just because it's not in your sight doesn't mean nothing. It could very well pop up at any given moment. And that's because on retention, we realize that. We can't explain this. We don't really know what's going on 90% of the time. So in that same breath, we must not be able to truly understand what's going on in this flat line. But to say that it's not going to come out better on the other side is just wrong. Okay. Now, the reason it gets better is because of this. Imagine every day you just have like a piggy bank and you put like 2 quarters in it. Every day in retention, that's what it is. You put 2 quarters in a piggy bank. You're storing up yourself, your mind, your mental energy, your physical energy, and you're putting it in a bank. And that's compounding interest, and eventually, years down the line, those 2 quarters add up and you have, several $100s or, several $1,000s. This is like compounding interest. But at the same time, we're putting in coins every day. When we do the right things, like go to the gym, transmute our energy through meditation, when we pull ourselves out of weak mindsets, do the things that we need to do, all of that helps as well. And if we can't properly understand that each and every single day, even on a flat line, is essential, then it's not going to work out. Like, unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Like, when you're going on this road trip, there's going to be so much that comes at you. You're going to associate it all with retention if you really desire to, or if you really have that belief in your heart that it is all related. It may be, but it also may not be. Realize that. It may not be related to anything. It may not be related to anything that you're doing. Just realize that. And it could be a reality right now, and it could be a reality, a month down the road or a week down the road. It could happen tomorrow. But your understanding is what's going to pull you out of it. So I guess I want to talk about what I thought I was feeling, or what I think I felt. So it felt like there was this buildup of energy, and then it slowed down and it kind of got stale. Right? It was like plateau, and then it just got a little bit worse. It was like seeping back down. And I think the problem was I got very lazy while I was on my retention. I wasn't taking the gym as seriously. I wasn't taking my diet as seriously. And I started to feel this like slight feeling of depression, and it just got worse. And in that, I started to feel this build of energy happening very slowly, very acutely. At like day 39, I started to feel this depression. It got worse at 40, got a little bit worse at 41. And then yesterday, I was like, screw this, I'm going to go work out. So on 41, I took a big run, and that helped for some of the day. Now on day 42, yesterday, I was lifting a bunch, and it took it all away. Everything that I was feeling, it took it all away. But a lot of it was still there. And that was because I was praying about a lot at the time. God wasn't, it was just a stressful time. There were other things in life that were just catching up. Like, retention doesn't solve everything. It doesn't create everything. In fact, what it does create, in my opinion, is responsibility, which may create more stress. Like, if you get more, like, let's say you get a better job while you're on this streak, that's going to require more responsibility. And if you mess up in your retention journey, more stress. Or if you don't mess up, it could just create more stress in general. And then you have these flat lines on top of that, that's just going to put you in a bad spot to where you're not going to be easily able to recover unless you have just the perfect process in mind each and every time you've been retaining for a long period of time. But like, when But like just other things in life, they come and get you, right? And it felt like there was this buildup of energy and it kind of slowed down. And what really helped me come out of it was working out. That was a big one. Meditating helped a little bit, but working out was a big one. I just needed to get my body moving. I just needed to start moving. Get outside of myself, get outside of this mentality, and start doing something that I don't normally do or I wasn't normally doing, and put some stress on my body, push through it, and start to feel better. Because there's so much that I could have done, right? But to pick something that puts stress on the body, like work or working out or creative, time, creative mentality, just putting my effort, my focus elsewhere takes so much off my back that it legitimately, like even in that state when I felt like I wanted to do nothing or I felt terrible, it took so much off me and I didn't even realize it. And then after I was done, I felt like a new man. And along the way, God started to show me a lot. And here's another thing. When you encounter hardship on retention, since you're thinking at such a high contextual level, you're thinking at such a broad, more of an umbrella scope about everything, you start to get through hardship much quicker than you ever would have before because you can process it with a good mentality and a good heart, right? So when we're in a drained state, number one, we're like lucid dreamers all the time. We don't know if reality is even reality, number one. And number two, when we feel that way, we start to have like amnesia all the time. We forget everything. Okay, so being in a drain state is just absolutely terrible. But and because you're having amnesia, it's because you can't draw lines to anything. You're not learning anything at a rate that you would be on retention. So on retention, you're thinking at such a high contextual level about everything that when you encounter hardship, you're processing emotion and trauma and everything like 10 times quicker. So it's much easier to work through emotions. They may be very severe, they may be very high, but overall, you can get through things much quicker on retention because you are following a purpose that is much bigger than anything that you are encountering in this world, right? Because retention stretches over everything. You're doing this regardless of whatever happens, right? So it stretches over everything, right? And therefore, it is the most important in the hierarchy of actions and importance. So therefore, there is something more important at hand, and that kind of also helps us as well. But it could have been like a buildup of energy that seeped down in like a sort of like a plateau, to kind of just like push me up farther. Like when a stock goes down and dips below market value just to jump back up and gain more momentum than it had before. There's that. And I think energy moves through us in a very intentional way, but when we're on retention, we can't help but feel positive. So it's either this energy is going to push us to feel positive or it's going to weigh us down until all we want to do is something good for ourselves, right? So it's kind of like sink or swim. Like either you swim to get to the other side, right? Or you're going to let yourself sink. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to make it better is swimming. And you're going to want to on retention because it's going to make you feel good. Like you're thinking a high contextual level, your brain is justifying everything. It's easy to justify doing something good for yourself when you know it's going to make you feel good. So if you're on a flat line, if you're going through something big, I hope this video helped you. But also I hope you realize that it's only temporary. All of this is only temporary, even the benefits. Everything that's going good, bad, whatever, your life, your situation where you're at right now is temporary. I can't tell you if that's going to be a month, weeks, who knows? I don't know. For me, sometimes it's days. I'm never really in a season of my life that is traumatizing or terrible where it lasts over a month, but I'm also a completely different human being than you. Everything in my life could be absolute hobnocky to whatever to whatever you're going through. And I want you to realize that that is completely fine, and that what I'm saying still holds true. What I'm saying still holds true. So there's more to the story. You're going to get through this. And, you know, if you have any direct questions for me, just throw them in the comments. I'll respond to whatever you have to say, whatever you want to ask. And if you have any sort of like video ideas that you want me to go over more in depth, then throw those in the comments as well. I read all the comments. I respond to all the comments, or at least most of the comments. All of the comments have been so positive. We hit like 250 subs. I think last video we were maybe at just over 200 or something like that. So that's pretty good. I think the channel has been growing like more consistently than it ever has. Like this community is great. Like I know all the guys that are subbing to this channel genuinely find this content worth watching, and I hope that more guys, start to find this content more worth watching. I think there's so much here that needs to be discovered, and I think that we're just going to discover more and more and more and more of it. And as things go on in my retention journey, what I do is I update people here on this channel. So if you want to understand more about yourself, and you want to understand more about what someone else is going through, and compare it to your journey, and ask questions and just have support, drop a sub. I post like a video every 3 days or every 4 days. I used to post videos specifically talking about the streak. I'm not going to do that anymore. I think the streak is irrelevant to the grand scheme of things. I know it's important, but I don't think it is the sole reason why all this happens. I think our lives are more dynamic, and we have to focus on the dynamicness of our lives rather than the amount of days that we have under our belt. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys about Flatlines. Yeah, stay tuned on the channel. If you're a sub, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a great sub. Like all the guys that are commenting on the channel, I just genuinely love. Like I think there's so many people that are genuinely getting a lot out of what I'm talking about, and I've never been able to be in that position before. God has blessed me big time, and I can't thank him enough. But so thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.